Good morning, my friends. My name is Elizabeth Worm, and I am the Director of Religious Education from St. Peter's Parish, and I am here to you not today from St. Peter's Chapel. No, I am not. I'm here from another church. This is my home parish, which is Holy Trinity in Bucyrus. And if you are looking around, you can tell there's some mighty differences in how these churches look. Our church is a much more modern parish. It was created in the 70s. And your church is a lot older than that. But the one thing that is the same about all the churches, I'm going to try to show you right now, because I am standing here at the time when this church should be filling up. When we start saying the rosary before Mass starts, there's no one here. Because right now, we can't celebrate the Mass together in one place, but you can still celebrate the Mass at home. So I hope you're doing that. I'm hoping you're watching it on TV. But today what we're going to talk about is we're about to get into Holy Week, and we talked about prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. But now we're going to talk about some of the people involved. And some of the people involved are the apostles. And the apostles were a crazy group of people. They truly were. If I had to be out on the playground and pick a team, I wouldn't have picked any of them. Because they denied Christ. They said, "You aren't a good leader." They even got angry. They weren't the best well-known people in the world. People didn't like them very much. But Jesus saw in them, through their sins, something that was special. Just like Jesus sees in all of us, something that is special. And one thing that's unique to this church is that we have these beautiful stained glass windows that are dedicated to each of the apostles. So we're going to start and look at just about 3 of them, if that's okay with you. And we'll see some symbolism of what the apostles were about. So we're going to look at this one first, and I'm going to try to get it down here for you. It is Saint Andrew. Okay. And Saint Andrew, we know that he was a disciple of John the Baptist. And right before this, John the Baptist died. He was martyred for his faith. Okay, and St. Andrew was somebody who was with John the Baptist from the very start. So you can see on his window, he has an X. Okay, and if I go up a little bit further, you can see he has a flame. Now, the flame shows that after Jesus died, he sent the Holy Spirit to all the apostles, and they were given the gifts of the Holy Spirit, something that many of you will get when you are confirmed. The cross shows that Andrew was martyred for his faith, which means he died for his faith. And when he was martyred, that is the motion that he was martyred in. Okay, we're going to continue walking to our next window. It's not too far away, so hang in there with me. Here we come to St. John. And St. John was the apostle that Jesus loved. And what you can see here, again, you can see his flame. He was there on Pentecost. But you can also see a chalice with a snake in it. And one thing about John is he is the only apostle that was not martyred. And Jesus said to him, "My cup you shall not drink. You shall not be killed." Right? Okay. John was the one that Jesus loved the most. And he handed Mary to him and said, "Behold your mother, behold your son." He needed somebody to take care of his mother. And how like Jesus, at the end of his life, to be thinking about others. We come over here to St. James the Greater. St. James the Greater, he was one of the sons of thunder, as they call him in the Bible. And the sons of thunder, they were 2 crazy guys. It was John and James. And they were with Jesus at all the important events of his life, like the Transfiguration. Jesus chose them. He also had a conversation with them when they said, "Let me be the most important person to you." And Jesus said, "No, the first shall be last," right? He said, You can ask me to be the most important person, and I want that kind of excitement in your life, but you can't just say, I'm going to be the most important person. Okay, but James was very important because Jesus chose him as one of the big leaders of this early Christian movement. Our last one that we're going to look at, and we're going to walk past Mary as we go. There she is with baby Jesus. But we're going to look at St. Peter. And St. Peter, again, has a flame over top. Okay, and St. Peter, if you look at him, he has the keys. Now, St. Peter was chosen as the leader of the church, and he was the one that we hear about the most in the Gospels. He denied Jesus, he walked on the water and then gave up faith, he cut off someone's ear, he did all kinds of bad things. But Jesus still thought, he is the greatest one to lead my church, because someone needed to. And Jesus didn't want somebody who would just stand by and watch. He wanted somebody who could lead, even if it was through bad ideas, even if it was through mistakes, but definitely through passion. And so, as we're finishing up our last week before Holy Week, think about that. How does Jesus want you to lead? He chose all these folks that were not the greatest of leaders, but he chose them because he saw that their passion for him, their passion to follow God, was bigger than anything else in the world. Matthew was a tax collector. He was hated, right? People were hated for their beliefs. Are you willing to stand up for your beliefs? So your challenge this week is, can you think of one way that you can stand up for your beliefs? If you are a junior higher, can you post something on Facebook about God? Can you do something on Instagram or Snapchat? Something that shows your belief in God, if your parents allow you to do that. If you are a younger person, can you do something like stand up for a younger brother or sister, stand up for a neighbor, help out someone who is elderly, do something to stand up for Christ? And then you will be just like the apostle that Jesus called you to be. I hope you have a great week. I hope to see you for Worship Wednesdays, and we will talk with you soon. Bye.